There are two kinds of outsiders. The distance between them is the distance between a man who has discovered something difficult and a man who has simply become disappointed. The first outsider is familiar. You have met him. Perhaps at some point you have been him. He is the man who rejected the world before he understood it, who mistook withdrawal for wisdom, transformed every disappointment into proof that he was somehow different from everyone around him. He speaks often about freedom, yet remains trapped by invisible chains, criticizes society, but rarely risks creating anything beyond criticisms. He stands outside the walls and calls it independence, never noticing that fear built those walls long before he arrived. There is a certain certainty about him, a loud certainty, an immovable certainty, and that certainty is the clue. May have met him, because anyone who has truly wrestled with life eventually discovers something uncomfortable. The deeper your understanding becomes, less interested you are in pretending that you possess all the answers. This man is not the outsider. He is only the shadow of one. The true outsider is rarer, far rarer, and history has never known exactly what to do with him. There is a type of person that every civilization eventually encounters, not the criminal, not the rebel, not even the revolutionary. The person who unsettles society most is the one who refuses to see the world exactly as it sees itself. We are born into a current already moving, a story already being told. Before we learn to speak, the stage has already been built, the script has already been written, the map has already been drawn. And quietly, almost invisibly, we are invited to participate, find your role, play your part, become useful, become respectable, become someone. Most people accept this invitation, not because they are weak, not because they are blind, because civilization itself depends upon it. A society is not merely a collection of individuals. It is a living machine, an ancient machine, a machine that transforms chaos into order. It teaches children, builds roads, feeds families, preserves knowledge, creates meaning through shared agreements. Without it, human life collapses into confusion. The machine is not evil. Machine is necessary. There is dignity in those who devote themselves to it. The parent who sacrifices for a child, the worker who honors responsibility. May have met him, the teacher who passes wisdom forward, the builder who creates something that will outlast him. These people are not asleep. Many possess a wisdom deeper than those who spend their lives drifting from idea to idea. Commitment teaches lessons that endless wandering cannot. And yet, in every age, on the edge of the map, another figure appears, the outsider. Not because he hates the machine, not because he wishes to destroy it, but because he begins to notice things that others no longer see. He notices how easily people confuse popularity with truth, how quickly comfort becomes obedience. Often inherited beliefs are mistaken for personal convictions. Most people experience such thoughts briefly. The outsider cannot let them go. They follow him, they disturb him, return in quiet moments. A question forms, then another, and eventually he finds himself standing in a strange position, inside the world, yet somehow separate from it. The imitation outsider reaches this point and immediately declares victory. He assumes that distance alone has made him wise. The true outsider knows better. Distance proves nothing. Man can stand outside a palace and remain just as ignorant as the king inside it. Understanding must come first, then distance, knowledge first, freedom second, never the other way around. This is the first law of the outsider. The true outsider earns his position. He studies the world before questioning it. He understands its rules before refusing them, participates before stepping back, and because of this, his separation is not born from resentment. It is born from clarity. There is a difference, a profound difference. One man withdraws because he cannot belong, the other because belonging alone is no longer enough. History remembers the second man, not because he was comfortable, not because he was admired, because he saw something that others overlooked, and seeing carries a price that every genuine outsider eventually pays. History leaves clues, not answers. Clues may have met him, scattered across centuries like footprints in snow. And if you follow those footprints carefully, you begin to notice something remarkable. The outsider is never exactly the same person. His clothing changes, his language changes, his beliefs change, but the pattern remains. Again and again, a figure emerges who sees the world differently. The world responds with the same mixture of fascination and discomfort. Consider Diogenes, not the legend, not the caricature, the symbol. Athens was the center of culture, philosophy, politics, and ambition. Men competed endlessly for influence, recognition, power. And Diogenes responded by stepping outside the game entirely. He carried almost nothing, owned almost nothing, desired almost nothing. People laughed at him, mocked him, dismissed him. But beneath the laughter was something more dangerous, unease, because every society has assumptions it would rather not examine. And the outsider has a habit of standing precisely where those assumptions become visible. May have met him. Nor is not important because he rejected comfort. Many people reject comfort. He was important because he exposed dependency. He forced people to ask a question they did not want to hear. Much of your life belongs to you, and how much belongs to what you fear losing? That question survives long after empires vanish. The outsider always asks such questions because he enjoys discomfort, but because truth often hides behind discomfort. Then there was Socrates, a man who spent his life doing something strangely simple, asked people why they believed what they believed, again and again and again. The questions themselves were rarely complex, yet entire certainties collapsed beneath them. That is the danger of genuine inquiry. Most people imagine intelligence as the ability to answer. The outsider often discovers that intelligence begins with doubt. Socrates understood something that remains true today. A society can tolerate many things: failure, eccentricity, even corruption, but it struggles to tolerate people who expose its contradictions. Eventually, Athens offered Socrates a choice: abandon the search or accept the consequences. He chose the consequences because he wanted to die, because he refused to betray what he had seen. This is another lesson the outsider learns. Every truth carries a cost. Eventually, someone must decide whether the truth is worth paying for. Centuries later, another outsider appeared, not in the streets of Athens, but in the silence of his own mind. Franz Kafka. Kafka spent much of his life feeling as though he stood behind an invisible wall, participating in the world, yet never entirely inside it. His stories are filled with strange transformations, endless bureaucracies, unreachable authorities, invisible forces. Perhaps that is because Kafka recognized something many people experience but struggle to articulate: the feeling that life sometimes becomes unfamiliar even while remaining exactly the same. The outsider is often accused of seeing problems where none exist, yet Kafka's work survived because he captured something real: the quiet alienation hidden beneath ordinary life, a sense that a person can be surrounded by others and still feel profoundly alone, not because nobody is present, but because nobody sees what he sees. Then there is Nietzsche, perhaps one of history's most misunderstood outsiders. People often imagine Nietzsche as a philosopher of rebellion, a destroyer, a man at war with society. Beneath his sharp criticisms was a deeper concern, self-deception. Nietzsche feared the ways human beings hide from themselves, the excuses they create, the comfortable stories they tell, inherited values they never examine. For Nietzsche, the greatest prison was not political, it was psychological. A person could be physically free and spiritually trapped. Outsider's task was not merely to reject society, it was to confront illusion wherever it appeared, including within himself, especially within himself, because the hardest truths are rarely found in governments, institutions, or traditions. They are found in the mirror, and perhaps that is why genuine outsiders are so rare. Imagine the challenge is separation. It isn't. The challenge is honesty, radical honesty, the kind that strips away every convenient lie, every borrowed identity, every comforting illusion. Most people can tolerate a certain amount of truth. Very few can tolerate all of it. But history also offers another lesson, one that is often ignored, and every outsider becomes wise. Not every person who stands apart sees clearly. In fact, many become trapped in a different kind of illusion, the illusion of superiority, belief that separation automatically creates insight, that loneliness automatically creates depth, that misunderstanding automatically creates wisdom. A shadow outsider is born. The shadow outsider does not question himself. He questions everyone else. The shadow outsider believes distance alone makes him special. The true outsider remains suspicious of his own conclusions. He understands something difficult. A person can escape the crowd and still carry the crowd within him, its fears, its vanities, hunger for approval, its need to feel important. The location changes, the psychology remains. That is why wisdom requires more than departure. It requires transformation. True outsider is not defined by where he stands. He is defined by what he sees. And seeing clearly is among the hardest tasks a human being can undertake, because the world is filled with incentives not to see. Comfort rewards blindness. Approval rewards conformity. Belonging rewards agreement. Machine functions most smoothly when nobody questions the blueprint. And yet some people cannot stop looking, cannot stop asking, cannot stop noticing, even when they want to, and when life would be easier if they did. That is where the outsider's burden begins. Not in rebellion, not in isolation, but in awareness. Simple awareness that once acquired can never be fully surrendered. And awareness changes everything, including the way you see yourself. Awareness sounds beautiful when spoken from a distance. In practice, it is often exhausting, because once you begin seeing the hidden forces shaping human behavior, start noticing them everywhere. You notice how often people say what is expected rather than what is true, how often decisions are driven by fear, disguised as practicality, how often entire lives are constructed around avoiding disapproval. At first, this realization feels liberating. Then it becomes lonely, not dramatic loneliness, not the loneliness of empty rooms. A different kind, the loneliness of standing in a crowded place and realizing you are having a different conversation than everyone else. Outsider learns that isolation rarely arrives all at once. It arrives gradually. A small silence here, a misunderstanding there, an opinion that cannot be fully explained, a truth that cannot be conveniently translated. And over time, a strange distance appears. Not because people reject him completely, but because they no longer recognize the landscape he is exploring. The world has many defenses against difference. The first is ridicule. Laughter has always been society's fastest weapon. A person can survive criticism, but mockery is more subtle. Mockery teaches observers what is safe to think. It marks the boundaries of acceptable belief. Outsider eventually becomes familiar with it. The dreamer, the idealist, the eccentric, the fool, the strange one. Names change, the function remains. The second defense is concern. Concern appears kinder. It arrives wearing the face of care. Friends worry. Family questions. Colleagues become puzzled. The message is rarely spoken directly, but it is understood. Why not come back? Why make life harder than it needs to be? Why keep asking questions that have no answers? And perhaps the most powerful defense of all is silence. Invitations become fewer. The opportunities become smaller. The conversations grow shorter. No argument is necessary. The world simply continues without you. This is where many turn back, may have met him. They were wrong because they discover the cost. Every meaningful path reveals its price eventually. The outsider is no exception. Some pay with comfort, some pay with certainty, some pay with belonging, and some pay with years of their lives. History rarely shows us these costs. History remembers outcomes. It remembers books, paintings, ideas, movements. It does not remember the nights of doubt, the unanswered letters, the financial struggles, the friendships lost, the endless uncertainty. Van Gogh painted masterpieces, yet spent much of his life unknown. Kafka transformed modern literature, yet asked that his work be destroyed. Nietzsche imagined ideas that would influence generations, yet lived much of his life in isolation. Their stories survive because of what they created, but creation was never free. The outsider does not receive a special exemption from suffering. With anything, awareness often increases suffering, because awareness removes certain illusions, and illusions are comforting. The belief that success guarantees fulfillment, belief that approval guarantees meaning, the belief that certainty guarantees peace. Once these illusions disappear, life becomes more complicated, but also more real. Here we encounter the great paradox, the paradox that sits at the center of the outsider's journey. Most people believe freedom means having no restrictions, no obligations, no limit. But genuine freedom rarely begins there. In fact, the opposite is often true. The person who cannot tolerate criticism is controlled by criticism. The person who desperately needs approval is ruled by approval. The person who fears exclusion becomes a prisoner of belonging. What appears to be freedom is often dependence wearing a disguise. The outsider discovers that liberation is not the absence of influence. It is awareness of influence. The chains do not disappear. They become visible. And once visible, choices become possible. This is why so many people who climb highest within systems eventually lose perspective. Power creates gravity. Dostoevsky creates gravity. Socrates creates gravity. The higher someone rises, the more they become surrounded by people who reinforce their worldview. Questioning becomes dangerous. Doubt becomes inconvenient. Truth becomes negotiable. Outsider serves a different function. He steps far enough away to see the shape of the structure itself, not because he is superior, because distance reveals patterns. May have met him. A fish knows it lacks intelligence because it never leaves it. The outsider leaves, at least psychologically, long enough to see the current carrying everyone else, and perhaps carrying himself as well. Because the greatest discovery is not that society influences us, Everyone knows that. Greatest discovery is realizing how much of our identity was assembled before we consciously chose it. Our fears, our ambitions, our definitions of success, our ideas about love. Clear meaning, so much arrives pre-packaged, handed to us by history, culture, family, tradition. None of these things are enemies, but neither are they automatically ours. Outsider's task is not destruction, it is examination, to ask which beliefs deserve to remain and which belong to someone else's story. This sounds simple. It is not, because every belief we question threatens a version of ourselves. And human beings protect their identities with remarkable intensity, sometimes more intensely than they protect the truth. That is why genuine self-examination feels dangerous, because something must always be surrendered, a certainty, an assumption, a comforting narrative. Something. Outsider understands this, and yet continues, not because he enjoys uncertainty, but because he has discovered something more valuable than certainty: honesty. And honesty changes a person, slowly, almost invisibly, until one day he notices something unexpected. The world has not become smaller, it has become larger, more mysterious, more complicated, more beautiful. Because certainty simplifies reality, awareness expands it. The outsider does not arrive at answers. He arrives at better questions, may have met, and that is where the final chance begins. Not understanding the world, understanding himself.